हरि ओम। सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। भवानी शङ्करो वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धा स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Namah Parvati Pataye. Har Har Mahadev. Hari Om, Hari Om. Bhagwan guides Arjuna on the path of Karma Yoga. Bhagwan tells Arjuna that not performing action is not an option. To renounce karma without gaining that self-knowledge is not an option. One has to perform karma. But one should perform those karmas which are our duties ordained by the scriptures, ordained by the whatever the rules and regulation of the society, plus the duties given to us by the scriptures, the yajna dana tapak karma. And this karma should be done dedicating them to Ishvara. We have to dedicate not only karma, but we have to dedicate ourselves to Ishvara. So because the whole world is created with this Ishvara Arpana Bhavana by that great Prajapati, so when we act in this world, dedicating our actions to Ishvara, our antakarana becomes Shuddha. We gain the qualification like Vivek Vairagya. We gain knowledge by Bhagwan's grace, by our teacher's grace. And once we gain that abidance in that knowledge, we become free of all karma bandhan. Bhagwan says, Ki yastvatmaratireva syat atmatruptascha manavaha atmanneva cha santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate. That person who revels in his own self, his innermost supreme self, one who is totally satisfied in his own self, one who is fully content in his own self, for such a person there remains no duties to be performed. There is nothing for that person to gain with karma, nothing to lose from not doing karma, and there is no dependence on any person or thing or anything. To reach this state, Bhagwan says you have to perform karma in the beginning. So without attachment, if you do that karma, you will attain the supreme. Tasmad asaktas satatam karyam karma samachara asakto yacharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. Even the great king like Raja Janak, through karma yoga, attained fulfillment. And even after gaining self-knowledge, Raja Janak continued to work for loka sangraha, for the welfare of the whole world. So Bhagwan tells Arjuna, a Shrestha Purush should continue working in this world to guide the world, for the welfare of the world, for loka sangraha. Bhagwan says, look at me, I am a Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta, that Ishvara only, but still I continue to work. There is nothing in this world for me to gain, there is nothing in this world for me to lose, but still I continue to work. Because if I don't work, people will start imitating me and they will get destroyed. Not only people, but the entire creation will get destroyed if I don't work. Therefore, Bhagwan guides even the enlightened person. Bhagwan says, even a wise person, a loving advice is given to the wise person also. Bhagwan says a wise person should work in this world, guiding the ignorant people on the right path. Ki sakta karmani avidvamsaha yatha kurvanti bharata. Just as an ignorant person lives in this world, performing various actions with attachment, A wise person should perform those actions without attachment and guiding people towards the right path. Huh? Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. That is the wish they have in their heart, that may all be happy, may all live this path of goodness and attain the supreme goal. Huh? So further Bhagavan gives guidance to the enlightened person in the next verse also, verse number 26. Bhagavan says, Na buddhi bhedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yuktas samacharan. Bhagavan says, Na buddhi vedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan. A wise person, the wise people, should not create buddhi bhed in the ignorant person. What is buddhi bhed? See, an ignorant person who is identified with his body, who is identified with his sense of, who has got the sense of doership, knowership, enjoyership, who works in this world with the intention of achieving some results. That is how we are born. We are born with lot of samskar. We are born with lot of desires. And in order to fulfill these desires, we perform actions. That is how we respond to the world. Actually, not only human beings, but even animal, birds, plant, they respond to the world. It's very amazing. Even sometimes you find a newly born creature instantly knows how to respond to the world, instantly knows where to go for food. The little child who is born, animal, what you call that little baby, knows where it will get its milk. It moves towards it. So it's quite amazing. So most of us are born ignorant with the identification with our body, mind, intellect, and our desires propel us into action. So performing action is not what you call something new. Everyone is performing action. The scriptures only guide us on what type of action we should perform and with what attitude. So here Bhagavan is saying that a person who has got this strong sense of doership and with the strong intention of that this is my kartavya and I have to do this karma to get this result, the wise person should guide that ignorant person in the right direction, slowly and steadily, without creating confusion in his mind, without creating confusion in his understanding. Slowly and steadily should be guided towards the right path. So, na buddhi bhedam janayed ajnanam karma sanginam. Because if we directly tell an ignorant person that what you are doing is not proper, what you are gaining will not be good for you. So if a confusion is created in his karma, a confusion is created in the karma phala, a confusion is created in his sense of doership and enjoyership in the beginning itself, that person will not be able to move ahead and will totally collapse. So Bhagavan says that is not the way. See, even when we are driving and we are going on that freeway and we are moving with full speed, then suddenly as we are going, we come to know that it is a wrong route I have taken. So even when I come to know it is a wrong route, I can't just put a brake there and stop the vehicle there and take a U-turn there itself is not possible. It's a one-way traffic, so I have to continue on that route and find the nearest exit, and thereafter go there and take a U-turn and come on the right path, or whatever my right path is. Similarly, a wise person knows this person is ignorant and he is going towards this samsara only, getting entangled, but to stop that person midway is not the way. The person should be guided in action, and slowly then the action should be made more and more pure, then his attitude should be made more and more pure, and in this way he is led on the right path. And that is how the great our tradition is there, our Sanatan Dharma tradition is there, where great Mahatmas, they guide people according to their condition and according to their need. Everyone is not given same guidance. Each one is given according to their condition, according to where they are given the guidance. If a person is fit to become a grahasti, the scriptures, the Mahatmas give them guidance. You now get married and you follow the path of dharma. But a person who has got great vairagya and is seen to be fit, the Mahatmas tell them, "Arey, ye grahastha mein kya rakha hai?" You take sannyas and then you follow this path of. So each one, according to their ability and their situation, guidance is given. Here Bhagavan is facing this Arjuna. Arjuna was confused, and Arjuna wanted to give up everything and take sannyas and go away. But Bhagavan says, no, that is not proper. You should work. You should continue working in this world. In the Ramayana, we have a very interesting incident where Sri Ramchandra ji, he meets Parshuram ji. Parshuram is also Bhagwan's avatar. Parshuram ji is there, who was born as a Brahman, but he had taken this vow. He took this Parshu, an axe in his hand, and he was out destroying all the adharmic kshatriyas from this world. He had taken that vow, I will just kill them and destroy them. And he was so much full of aggression and full of anger in his heart towards all the kshatriyas. So when he met Bhagwan Sri Ram, he was also he got angry with Sri Ram also, because Bhagwan broke that bow of Shiva. So there is a dialogue between Sri Ram and Parshuram ji, and Bhagwan again and again does namaskar to Parshuram ji. He says, you are a Brahman, you are such a holy person, and I am your sevak. But Parshuram ji again and again tells him that you come and fight with me, don't talk like this, you fight like a warrior. But again Bhagwan does namaskar to him, and he says that I am just a humble servant of yours, you are a great person, you are the knower of the scriptures, you are the knower of the Vedas, I should take guidance from you. And then slowly and steadily Bhagwan reminded him that his nature is to just focus on purifying his mind and attaining that supreme, not take up this weapon and all. So Bhagwan told him that drop this weapon, I will take care of all these Rakshasas. You can go and do tapas. You renounce all this action and you go and do tapas. And Parshuram ji accepted, he dropped his weapon and he went to do tapas. So Parshuram ji, who was ready to work in this world, Bhagwan told him not to do that, go and do tapas. And here Arjuna wanted to renounce everything. Bhagwan says, no, don't renounce, you work. So each one is given advice according to where that person is, what is his mental condition, what is his understanding, what is his spiritual status. Accordingly, that advice is given. So one should not create unnecessary confusion in a person's mind. One should not take up the role of being a teacher and start giving advice to every second person. One should be very careful. So Bhagavan says, Na buddhi vedam, and he is giving this advice to enlightened person. He says a vidwan should not create confusion in people's mind. Na buddhi vedam janayed ajnanam karma sanginam, in those ignorant people who are attached to karma. Because to make people act and all is a very not so easy. So a person is already acting, so we have to just guide them and take them on the right path. So Joshet Sarva Karmani, Bhagavan says, you inspire those people, motivate them in different types of activities, social activities and other activities, and slowly make them aware of their own kartavya karma from a broad standpoint. So engage them in various activities. But the Vidwan should remain well integrated and act properly. So Vidwan Yuktas Samacharan, doing his own thing properly, advising them properly, and acting also properly. A Vidwan, a wise person, should guide the ignorant people on the right path. Na buddhi bhedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yuktas samacharan. Because all of us, all the beings, there are infinite beings in this world, and all the beings are at different stages of evolution. Everyone is different, at a different level of evolution. People born in the same family might be in different stages of evolution. You find Hiranyakashipu, the father, and Prahlad, the son, were at different stages of evolution. The son, Prahlad, could see Bhagwan's presence in everything. He could see Bhagwan's presence in a stone, in a wall, in a pillar also. But his father could not see anything. Father was in his own mood, in his own world, having his own philosophy. So everyone is at different levels of evolution. So understanding everyone properly, understanding the scriptures properly, a wise person should guide the ignorant person on the right way, on the right path, in the right way, properly, without creating any confusion in the person's mind. So, na buddhi vedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yuktas samacharan. So when we say an ignorant person, what do we mean by an ignorant person? What type of confusion is there in an ignorant person? What is the problem? What is this ignorance, and what is the effect of this ignorance? That is very beautifully brought out now in the next verse. Bhagavan is telling what exactly is the ignorance of this ignorant person. He says, Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma karta hamiti manyate. Bhagavan says कि प्रकृतेः गुणैः क्रियमाणानि कर्माणि सर्वशः. That the gunas of Prakriti, through the gunas of Prakriti, all actions in all ways are performed. All actions are performed by the gunas of Prakriti. But an ignorant person, ahankara vimudhatma karta ahamiti manyate, an ignorant person who is thoroughly deluded by ahankar. What is ahankar? Identification with the body, mind, intellect, etc. as myself. Karya karana sanghata atma pratyaya ahankara tena vividham nanavidam moodha atma antakaram yasya sa ayam. One who has got this confusion in his antakarana that I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect, I am the senses. This notion of I in the body, mind, intellect, senses, this false notion is called ahankar. So one whose antakarana is thoroughly confused with this ahankar, such a person considers that all actions are being done by me, the Atma. Karta ahamiti manyate, considers himself as the doer of all action. Now this is a very subtle shloka, not very easy to comprehend. So let us do some thinking on this. See, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji has written beautiful commentary not only on Bhagavad Gita, but Bhagwan has written a beautiful commentary on Upanishads and also on Brahma Sutra. Upanishads are the main praman to know the nature of our own self. Based on the Upanishads only and the teachings of the Upanishads only are revealed in Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is also praman to know ourself. What is revealed in the Upanishads are themselves very beautifully, systematically presented in Brahma Sutra in the form of aphorisms, in the form of sutras. There are 555 sutras. So in these 555 sutras, Vedavyasa Rishihi presents the main teaching of Upanishad systematically, rationally, logically. So that is the Brahma Sutra. So these three types of text, threefold text, the Upanishads, mainly the 10 Upanishads. Then we have the Bhagavad Gita and the Brahma Sutras. These three together are called Prasthantrayi, and through this Prasthantrayi we come to realize and recognize ourselves as we are. But this Prasthantrayi can be understood properly with the help of Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharyaji's commentary, because we have to understand the right import, the right thing which is conveyed in the scriptures without any confusion, without any contradiction. So for that we have to take the guidance and help of Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji's commentary. So Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji has written a beautiful commentary on Brahma Sutra, but before commenting on the sutras, Bhagwan has written a very beautiful introduction to Brahma Sutra. And this introduction is also called Adhyas Bhashya, is also introduction to Vedanta. We will not go through the whole thing, it's a most beautiful section. But in this Adhyas Bhashya, Bhagwan takes up this point wherein a person is confused and have this sense of doership. So why this sense of doership is there? And Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji says that all the guidance of the scriptures are given to this ignorant person, and all the activities which are happening in this world, whether they are worldly or the religious activity, all of them are done by those who are ignorant of their own self. So what is this ignorance and how it expresses? So briefly I will just read this portion and we will just talk about it. So Bhagavan, he says in Brahma Sutra, the question is asked, Katham punaha avidyavat vishayani pratyakshadini pramanani shastrani cha. That how we should understand that all this topic of the scriptures as well as the worldly activities are meant for an ignorant person, is directed toward the ignorant person. So Bhagavan says, yes, that ignorance is there, that only has given rise to this sense of doership. So he says, कि उच्यते देहेन्द्रियादिषु अहम मम अभिमान रहितस्य प्रमातृत्व अनुपपत्तौ प्रमाण प्रवृत्ति अनुपपत्तेः. Bhagavan says that we have this sense of I, and this sense of I we have in this body, physical body, as well as we have the sense of I in our senses and our mind. And when we have this sense of I in them, then that it creates a sense of it creates that pramatritvam. I become a knower. Because of this identification with the body, mind, intellect complex, I consider myself as a knower. Because of my association with this body, mind, intellect complex, I seem to be functioning through them. See, when I am in deep sleep, when you are in deep sleep, your body is there, but you don't function through the body. If you want to walk, if you want to talk, you cannot do, because there is no direct identification with the body. But when you wake up, that identification happens and you seem to be acting through the body. So our activity through the body, mind, intellect happens because of this identification. We identify with them and consider them as aham and mama, that this am I, that belongs to me. So this is all because of the beginningless avidya. And this beginningless avidya have to be, even after listening, even after understanding, it doesn't go. It doesn't just go away. The ignorance and the effect of ignorance doesn't go after just listening to it. It is very strong, it is very adamant, it is very deep. It doesn't just disappear. See, even we listen to the scriptures, we do a lot of satsang, we come to understand that I am that Brahma, different from this body, but still we continue experiencing the body. We continue experiencing the pleasure and pain through the body. So it just doesn't go very easily. But the fact is, all the activities which we see are happening in Prakriti, not in the Shuddha Atma. So that's what Bhagavan is saying here, कि प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणे कर्माणि सर्वशः. What is Prakriti? Prakriti is the nature of Bhagavan. Prakriti is the Shakti of Bhagavan. Prakriti is the Shakti of Bhagavan means Prakriti is the Shakti of that Brahma. That Brahma is inbuilt power is called Prakriti. Just like we say Brahma is Satyam Jnanam Anantam, that Satyam Jnanam Anantam is the nature of Brahma. Similarly, Prakriti is also nature of Brahma. It's also called Maya. In the 7th chapter, Bhagavan will talk about this Maya as his twofold Prakriti, the Para Prakriti and the Apara Prakriti. The Apara Prakriti is the eightfold Prakriti, the five, what you call the Tanmatras, the five subtle elements, and Avyakta, Mahat Tattva, and Ahankar. This becomes Bhagavan's Ashtadha Prakriti. This Bhagavan's Prakriti alone modifies to become this whole world. That way Bhagavan's Prakriti is one only. That alone becomes twofold as Para and Apara. And this Apara Prakriti further modifies into 24 tattvas. The five great elements, the five what you call objects of perception, Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, the five Karmendriyas, the five Jnanendriyas, and the Antakaran Chatushtay, Mana Buddhi Chitta Ahankar. This 24 makes up the Vikar of Bhagavan's Prakriti only, modification of Bhagavan's Prakriti. And this whole modification of Prakriti is supported, guided, and made active by Bhagavan's Para Prakriti, that is called Prana. So Bhagavan alone identified, through the Prana, expresses as the Jiva who functions through this Apara Prakriti, who makes the Apara Prakriti move. So this Para and Apara Prakriti, their play alone is this whole world which we see in front of us. So Bhagavan says here, this is actually a big topic, and to comprehend it, we have to take this topic separately and contemplate for a long time. But here briefly, Bhagavan says that Prakrite Kriyamanani Gune Karmani Sarvashaha, that all karmas are being done by the gunas of Prakriti, by the vikar of Prakriti, by the modification of Prakriti. So, this whole thing is modification of Prakriti, but I, the Jiva, who is associated with this Prakriti from the beginningless time, who is identified with this Prakriti from the beginningless time, that I, the Jiva, is also called a Purusha. So this Purusha, associated with this Prakriti from beginningless time, who is ignorant about his own Supreme Self, he identifies with this Prakriti and considers the activity of Prakriti as my own activity, considers the activity which is done by the Prakriti as being done by me. That is called the Moha. This is a deep confusion which is there in our Antakarana. So Bhagavan says, Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvashaha Ahankara Vimudhatma. This person whose Antakarana, Atma here is that Antakarana of this person which is deluded with Ahankar, which is deluded with this identification with this body, mind, intellect complex, thinks that Aham Karta, he thinks that I am the doer. When he says I, he is indirectly hinting at his own inner self, and he thinks that inner self is the doer. That innermost self is not the doer. Again, a little bit. I am not seeing anybody's reaction, so I continue talking, thinking that maybe you have not understood. So let us take one example. In this, when we are awake, we experience our own existence and we experience ourselves seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, and experiencing this world. That I, who is experiencing this world in the waking state, is called the waking, you can call him the waking Atma. Technically is called Bahish Pradnya, the knower of the external world, the waking Atma. I only, but who is awake and who is functioning and identified with this waking world and the body, mind, intellect. Then when I go to sleep and when I dream, what happens? My senses get withdrawn from this world. I no longer become aware of this outer world. The Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi of this world is not comprehended by me. I lose my awareness of this world. I lose awareness of my physical body also. But my mind continues to function. And I continue to experience a world created by my mind that is called dream. And I become a dreamer. The I who was awake, that same I is the dreamer now. In the dream, the same I has become the dreamer. With the body and with the associated with the mind and seeing the world shown by the mind, that I become the dreamer. But that is not all. This mind also, after showing lot of world, gets tired and gets dissolved. The Antakarana takes rest in the pranas, in the para prakriti of Bhagwan, and that is where we experience deep sleep. So deep sleep is when the Antakarana is dissolved into pranas. Externally the pranas continue to function and continue to maintain the physical body and run the show of this world, but I am no longer aware of the body, nor aware of the mind, nor aware of this world. I remain cut off from everything. That I is the sleeping I, that is called Prajnana Ghana. And that Prajnana Ghana, that Atma, when I was asleep, that's also called that Pratyek Atma, the innermost self. That innermost self is what you call, is free from all the equipment, is free from the Sthula Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, it is free from any connection with the world. That is who I really am. Whenever I say I refer to this Pratyek Atma. But when I am awake, I associate this Pratyek Atma with the gross body. I associate this Pratyek Atma with the subtle body, and the activities of the gross body, subtle body, I consider them as the activity of this Pratyek Atma, which is not true, which is not proper, which is a lie, which is false, which is an adhyas. So when that person says, I am doer, with his I, he refers to this Pratyek Atma, because that Pratyek Atma alone was in the deep sleep. That Pratyek Atma alone becomes the dreamer. That Pratyek Atma alone becomes the waker in the waking state. But the nature of that Pratyek Atma doesn't change. That Pratyek Atma is free from any connection with the physical body, with the subtle body, with this world. And that Pratyek Atma is not a doer. No activity, no modification, no change happens in that Pratyek Atma, the innermost self. But in the waking state, due to thorough confusion, due to ahankar, because of this identification, I consider myself as the doer. And that is what is called being ignorant. This is an analysis of an ignorant person. इग्नोरेंट पर्सन का यहाँ पर पूरा कुंडली बताई हुई है. सो प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः ahankara vimodhatma karta aham iti manyate. So when we follow the path shown by Bhagwan, Karma Yoga, and slowly and steadily purify our mind, then we gain that knowledge. We understand this Pratyek Atma is Sakshat, that Brahma. Thereafter, we gain that conviction through contemplation, and then we gain that abidance through Nididhyasan. That is the process. That is the way to eliminate this ahankar. Just by listening to it, just by hearing it first time, that will not go. This ajnan will not go just like that. It's like we have some disease, we have some health issues, we go to the doctor, and then he says we have to take a test. So with the test we come to know that there is some problem in the blood, something is there, some bacteria and all are there which are causing the problem. So just by knowing and having that test in my hand and knowing, oh, this is there, this much percentage is there and it should be like this and all, just by having that test in my hand will not make me free of that disease. I have to take the medicine. And slowly and steadily I become free of all the outer influences and become healthy again. Similarly, just by knowing theoretically what is ignorance, how it is causing adhyas, will not make me free of that adhyas. I will have to follow the path in the right sequence and gain that knowledge and gain abidance in that knowledge. That's what Bhagavan says. So an ignorant person is there, don't confuse that person, don't teach him directly to renounce everything and sit and meditate, but engage that person into various activity so that his mind becomes pure. And once the mind becomes pure, give him that knowledge which will give him conviction that he is I am Atma, Brahma, that innermost self, that Pratyek Atma is Brahma. Once that conviction comes, then guide that person on the path of meditation. So prakrite kriyamanani gunik karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimodhatma karta ahamiti manyate. So ignorant person thinks he is the doer. But what about the wise person? What is the attitude of the wise person when he sees all the activities happening in his body, in his mind, in this world? How does the wise person look at the whole? Because the wise person continues to experience the world, the wise person continues to experience his body and mind, the wise person continues to function in this world. So how does a wise person look at all the activities? What is his understanding? So that is now said in the next verse, verse number 28. Bhagavan says, Tattvavittu mahabaho gunakarma vibhagayoho guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Bhagavan says, Tattvavit. Tattvavittu mahabaho. He Mahabaho, he Arjuna, with a long mighty arms. That Tattvavit means one who has understood the Tattva, means one who has understood the reality, one who is the knower of that Brahma, one who has recognized the essential nature of his own self, one who has understood that this I am Atma is Brahma. Not only I am Atma Brahma, but one who understood that the whole world is the expression of Brahma only, my expression only. There is nothing other than Brahma. Sarvam khalvidam Brahma. There might be differences in expression, but there are no differences in the essential nature. Just as we have various ornaments, there might be differences in the ornaments and their utility. Some ornaments can be worn on our head, some in the neck, some in the ear, some in the nose. Some are to be worn in our wrist, some are in our fingers. Their utilities are different, but essentially all of them are gold. Similarly, a wise person looks at this world. He knows essentially everything is Brahma. He knows. But he knows that they are all functioning differently because their expressions are different. And he also knows all this functioning is happening by the gunas of Prakriti automatically. The gunas of Prakriti are functioning in the gunas of Prakriti. Very beautiful. He says, Tattva Vittu Mahabaho Guna Karma Vibhagayoho. And what understanding this Tattvavit has? He has got the understanding of the Guna Karma Vibhag, the proper division of Guna and their Karma. He knows the expression of Gunas as the 24 Tattvas, the five, the five great elements, the five subtler elements, that is expressing as Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, then Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, and the Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. All of them together are the 24 Tattvas. These 24 Tattvas, they interact with each other. That itself is what is called the activities of this world. So a wise person knows the 24 tattvas, and the wise person also knows the activities happening within these tattvas. So he has got the clear understanding of guna vibhag and karma vibhag, the division of gunas into these 24 tattvas and their activities, mutual activities. This he knows very clearly. He knows very clearly. So guna guneshu vartante. He knows that gunas, they function in gunas. See, we see in this world not only the living world, but we also see the material world, and we will understand that so it is, they are not stationary, they are continuously acting. If you look at our own solar system, we find a beautiful sun is there, and the parivar of this sun, the planets are there. Previously there were 9 planets, they have now removed Pluto as a planet. So 8 planets are there, and so many planetoids are there, smaller planets are there, so many other bodies are there, like the asteroids and all. So many, then those Oort clouds are there. So many things are there. All of them are the giant, big parivar of the sun, S-U-N, sun. And all of them are revolving around the sun. They are rotating around themselves, and they are busy revolving around the sun. Some of the planets, they have a shorter revolution, some have a longer revolution, some have such a long revolution that they take years together to take one round of the sun. And some of them are far away, remain there only for a long time, and once in a while they come and take a round of the sun. All those, comets and all. Some comets from the Oort clouds and all, they come and take a long production of the sun and go back. Or these asteroids, sometimes they come and take a production of the sun and go back. Or these great planets, they take a production of. They, according to some research, they feel that there is one more planet hidden somewhere, the 9th planet, not the Pluto, but another planet. Because from the movement of other planets and all, they are convinced that there is a planet, but which is very, very far away, which is very large, like a large Earth-like planet, and it takes thousands of years to take one revolution around the sun, and they know that it is there somewhere. So all these movements of these planets and asteroids and comets and all happen according to the laws of nature. Therefore, we can predict in advance that on this particular day there will be solar eclipse, on this particular day there will be lunar eclipse, on this particular day in the sky you can see the Venus, you can see Mars, you can see Jupiter at a particular angle. On this particular day this phenomenon will happen. Why you know? How do you know? Because all of them follow the physical laws, and accordingly they keep functioning. But scripture says even the living being follow the laws and they keep functioning. The thoughts come in our mind, that activates our mind, our senses, and that makes the whole work happen. So all this, even the so-called living being, their activities are also guided by the thoughts and desires and vasanas and their samskars which are there, and all these activities are happening in Prakriti only. So a Tattvavit, a Mahatma who has recognized his own self and who knows the play of this Prakriti, who knows the secret of this Prakriti, he just sits back, relaxes and enjoys the show of this world. He knows guna guneshu vartante. He knows gunas of Prakriti are playing with the gunas of Prakriti. So they are playing with themselves. The Akash is playing with Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi. They are all playing with themselves. So he watches this beautiful play. Guna guneshu vartante iti matva. Knowing this fully, recognizing this fully, that wise person doesn't get attached. He has recognized himself as the Pratyagatma, which is Sakshat Brahma. So he doesn't get attached to this, because by nature he is not attached to anything. By nature we are unattached to our body, mind, intellect. We are that unattached Asanga Atma. But because of our ignorance, we feel we are attached. But an enlightened person knows that he is not attached. So remaining totally detached, a wise person looks at this whole world and enjoys the play of this world. Guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Knowing this, he doesn't get attached. He doesn't get confused. He knows all this play is happening. So such a wise person should not confuse an ignorant person, but guide them systematically, step by step, toward the supreme goal. There are no shortcuts. You can't take a jump. So one should go step by step. Just like a person, let us say a child, you want to make the child a doctor. You have a great desire that my son should become a doctor. So what is he? How old is he? Oh, he is 5 years old. Just started going to this play school. Acha. Now maybe in first standard or something. So if you want to make that your child a doctor, you should not directly put that child in medical college. Though the child also will come to know that only by going to medical college I will become a doctor, and the child might cry that no, I want to go to medical college, I don't want to go to this primary school. But no, you should tell the child, first you complete your primary education, then you go to the higher secondary. Thereafter, when you become qualified, you will be admitted in the medical college, and there you can study and then become a doctor. Similarly, here, a person ignorant should be guided step by step. He might be excited to renounce everything and meditate and become enlightened. So Bhagavan says, no, first guide that person into Karma Yoga. Thereafter, teach him the right knowledge and guide that person in meditation. So more about this we will see in our class tomorrow. So till then, stay safe, stay home, and do your studies, do your whatever duties, and do your studies also. Contemplate on what you heard, understand them deeply, and put into practice, and share this video with your friends and relatives, and take care of yourself and others around you, and we will meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, 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 Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांतिः. हरिः ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ओम.